Hey everyone, it's Ellis, and this is the 14.6 patch preview. I don't know when the last time I actually did one of these on my main YouTube channel was, but we're just going to get into it and talk about everything. So 14.6 is the, fabled Curse of 6 that Riot typically does. So even though there's a lot of changes here, we actually have to look at the substance of the changes to see whether or not this is going to be the first year in many that the Curse of 6 has been broken. And let's take a look at it. Okay, so WCD, 13 to 9 to 11 to 9. E-spike damage, 22 to 70 to 22 to 82. That's massive for Cho'Gath. That is absolutely huge. For AP and for tank Cho'Gath, these are both two absolutely massive changes for his combos. He's able to set up lethal a lot better. He's able to poke a lot better. For jungle Cho'Gath, this is also a lot better, although jungle Cho, I don't think anyone is ever really going jungle Cho. The E-spike damage is basically being undone. If you go back in Cho'Gath's patch notes, you'd see that they're undoing the E-spike damage. So this is, it's fine. So in top lane Cho'Gath, these are quite sizable changes. It actually does equate to a lot of, play pattern changes in top lane because he has these abilities up more often. The other thing is the other changes that Cho'Gath received over, different patches and whatnot. Now, AP Cho is kind of lacking items, so that is something to note with, once upon a time you really loved Twin Shadows, and then you really loved Everfrost, and now it's a little bit smudge, but it is what it is. All right, Diana Jungle, attack speed ratio 0.625 to 0.694. Attack speed growth is 2.25 to 2%. This is a buff. Level attack speed, level 1 attack speed is unchanged. Passive attack speed 15 to 40% every third level to 15 to 35, scaling linearly. This is a buff. Attack speed 3 times for 3 seconds to 3 times for 5 seconds. Okay, all right, makes sense. Doesn't really matter. These aren't Diana's attack speed is not what's gating her from being able to be competitively viable. She's basically married to Yasuo, even though she's a lesbian with Leona. So talk about where the sun the sun doesn't shine. However, the sun does shine somewhere, which is Japan today, as one of the LGBTQ rulings ended up coming down at 3 p.m. JST, and I actually don't know what the ruling is. I think that it was actually positive, but I'm not going to actually say what it was because I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, moving on. Ornn, E cooldown, 16 to 12 to 14 to 12. This doesn't really matter. It doesn't change his combo sequence. His E being up, he might be able to, depending on the team fight in mid-game, he might get an extra E off now. It actually is the way that this reads. That's it. Because he doesn't start putting points into, well, depending on what matchup he's in. Because in some matchups, Ornn puts 3 points to Q. Other matchups, he actually just maxes Q, and in other matchups, he maxes W, and then he maxes E, and he doesn't put any points to Q. And in which case, obviously, in the matchups where he would max E second, then this is not, the biggest of changes. It just gives you a little bit of extra, cooldown reduction at, 1 or 2 dragon fights. That's the way that this reads, but very negligible change. Rek'Sai bug fixes on W and R, okay. Passive cooldown on Shen, 4 to 7.5, levels 1, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18 to 4 to 7.5. Linear level scaling. This is a buff levels 2 to 17, especially 8 to 16, okay. Q min damage, 40 to 120, plus 45 to 75% total AD to 40 to 120. So this is Sion. So Sion's is getting more total AD. This obviously promotes the unhealthy playstyle of Sion, or, the unhealthy in the sense that, people try to be the boss and they're not the boss. And that's what goes on there. All in all, it is nice little changes to Sion. I'm not entirely sure what build this is supposed to benefit off the top of my head. I don't is Sion supposed to go Sundered Sky or something, and I'm not aware what. It is total AD, right? So it is just outright a buff. It's not like it's bonus AD or something, so it is just outright a buff. That's totally fine as well. In the max HP, this is a buff, ranks 2 to 5 above 1k max HP. This is very nice changes for Sion. Sion is already actually in a really good spot in mid lane. Again, Sion, Garen, these champions, they're not picked in pro play, but it has nothing to do with their current merit or their current value. It's just very funny. Tryndamere attack speed growth 2.9 to 3.4, very negligible. It does not matter. It's not what's gating Tryndamere from being able to come back. Tryndamere has a lot of indirect things that are gating him, such as other popular champions right now, as well as current itemization. Okay, so that's it for the buffs. Honestly, nothing here really changes competitive. If anything, nudges Sion more into competitive. That's really it. A little bit of placebo, not looking good for the Curse of 6. All right, let's take a look. Briar. W healing is 25 to 45% of damage, 24 to 40% of damage. W attack speed 55 to 115 to 54 to 110%. Q can now jump towards R damage 150 to 450 plus 50% bonus AD to 150 to 350 plus 50. Huh? What? I don't understand. It says it's the same thing. What? Am I blind? Oh, I am blind. I am blind. Yeah, I am. All right, it's just missing 100 at rank 3. So I assume that it's missing 50 at rank 2 and then 100 at rank 3. I'm going to be honest. It really does suck. I would like for like Drew to weigh in on these changes. I think he's like the only really notable Briar player, right, in the Western scene that actually has piloted her at a very high level. I know that she did appear inside of like solo queue and stuff, but I really think that Drew Toot was like the expert on Briar that could explain like what is going on with her, what's affecting her, what's making her strong, etc. And so like changes like this, I think that, you know, that would be good. I would be curious his way in. Gragas top base health is going to be down by 30, so he's missing an auto attack, but remember they gave him a lot of HP back with the changes that they did a couple of patches ago. So ultimately it doesn't really matter. Q mana cost 80 to 60 to just a flat 80. That is actually quite a nerf. I mean, obviously he's going to end up going tier, so that's fine. This is also a really big nerf to jungle Gragas, and I don't think that would be talked about because jungle Gragas, obviously with the mana, yeah, I mean this will just I guess end up hurting a little bit. Karma mid, mana growth 50 to 40, so by level 5 she's missing 1 spell cast. Mana regen growth 0.5 to 0.8, maybe not entirely 1 spell cast. Q mana is going to be 45 to 40 to 80, so I guess if you know, depending on how many Qs you actually cast at rank 1 Q, maybe you're actually just not missing a spell cast on first recall, but then you're missing spell casts on, you know, follow-up recalls. Okay. Passive refund 5 seconds to 4 seconds. R CD is going to be 40 to 31 to 40 to 34. Okay. R plus E bonus shield 25 to 175, 45% AP to 50 to 170. So the base amount is actually higher. Okay, so the flat amount is actually higher, which is good for Enchanter Karma. But the total amount, once it's fully scaled, is actually down by 5. So for Enchanter Karma, who obviously doesn't hit like max rank and everything like that, then she never has to worry about the 170 in general. But for AP Karma that is being played in like mid or top lane or even AD carry or something like that, then yes, it is a nerf. Miss spawn rate on minion kill 8.333 to 2.8. Okay, so Senna's just back to only being support Senna. That's totally fine. Or like fasting Senna, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we call it fasting Senna. It's not really fasting Senna because she never actually switches to farming, right? This is just like one of those lingos that exists inside of the Western scene that we've never actually adjusted to. But realistically, she just supports Senna, and it's just Senna combos. Smolder, Q stacks, 225 execute threshold. 7.625 plus 0.025% for the... Okay, so here's the funny thing about Smolder. Remember when Smolder first came out and then Riot buffed him and everyone was complaining about having Smolder in the game? Smolder sucked. Everyone said Smolder was trash and yada, 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 yada. And then Smolder ends up becoming, you know, this absolute monster. And yes, Smolder did get some buffs. However, these changes to Smolder now. W missile speed 125 to 115. E bonus movement speed 100 to 75. Wait, where is the... Wait, I thought they increased... I thought they increased the stacks to 270. I'm going to treat it as if they... Oh! Q 225 stacks execute threshold, further dragging to 6.5% no scaling. Oh! Oh, okay. They didn't increase it to... Oh, okay. I mean, Smolder is still going to be fine. He's just not going to be the menace that he actually is. But, I mean, his playstyle is still going to be good. The thing is that Smolder is actually beat by Kai'Sa, or AP Kai'Sa, and no one's playing AP Kai'Sa, but Smolder outscales Jinx. And so, like, like right now, I think that, like, Jinx, Smolder, Kai'Sa, in theory, should be, like, some of the rotated 3. And then, obviously, some of the all-in 80 carries that try to answer that are, like, Lucian, would be one of them. They would try to, like, snowball. Dragon stacking, etc. That would be like that, like, you want to call it meta, the way that people do, but you know that's what it is. Volibear QMS 12 to 32% to 12 to 28%. R cooldown is 130 to 100 to 140 to 100. Not really the end of the world. So the Q at later ranks and stuff is going to end up being slowed down a little bit. I mean, this is totally fine. I mean they just buff Volibear, but okay. Champion adjustments: passive refund by 3 champion per hit or epic monster hit with ability. Or epic monster is interesting. Passive passive attack gains 40% attack speed. Passive base damage 15 to 200 to 15 to 115. Passive AP ratio is 50% to 40. So they're lowering the total damage of your passive, but they're making it come up more. Q cooldown 12 to 8 to 12 to 7. Q is up way more. QAP ratio, however, is down by 5%. W damage reduction 25 to 45% plus 5% per 100 AP. 12% per 100 bonus MR to 20 to 40. So they're lowering the damage reduction by a lot. Plus 1% per 100 bonus HP now. Per 100 bonus HP. Oh, okay. Actually, they're making his damage reduction go up. Oh, okay. They're making... Well, I mean, I assume, yeah, if you're tank Galio, your support Galio, his damage reduction is going up, okay. But that's not what's making Galio not... Wait. W base damage, 20 to 80 to 20 to 60. E base damage, 90 to 250 to 75 to 235. E non-champion damage, 50% to 80%. So they're making it so that his wave clear is back, and if you build him, like, supportive... I think they're actually trying to make him an anti-mage. That's what I think that they're trying to do. I think that they're trying to make it so that his approach and his combos are more rapid. And even though he doesn't hit as hard, he's able to itemize tank, and he's able to just take trades and stuff. And I guess with Kayn Rooker and some other items that exist inside of the game, maybe he's going to be able to fulfill that fantasy. But, like, I really do hope that they bring Galio back to that. All right, guys, I'm going to be honest that, like, so far, this is a Curse of 6 patch. Like, minus the Smolder, we're not really getting anything. This really is, like, it's a lot of changes right now, but it kind of is a Curse of 6. Kayn, Q locks out items during animation, Profane Hydra. R base assassin damage 150 to 350 plus 175% bonus AD to 150 to 350 plus 150% bonus AD. Ross Q damage Q damage 65% total AD plus 5 plus 3. Okay, target max HP is 65% plus 6 plus wait. Huh? Wait, Rost's damage got buffed? Wait, Rost's damage got buffed. Okay, Rost got buffed, but Assassin Kayn got nerfed. Okay, that's okay. Infinity Edge, crit damage, 40%, 50%. Here's how you fix crit items. And I was going to make a video on this because someone had recommended to me, actually, this change, and it actually just makes a million sense. It really does. Here's how you change crit items. Just literally make crit items give 25% crit chance. That's it. That's all that you have to do. Stop doing these weird, like, forcing Infinity Edge type things, or, like, you know, trying to make Infinity Edge more appealing and stuff like that. Just make it 25%. There's no reason that Jinx and, you know, Sivir and Caitlyn and all these champions, there's no reason for them to need 5 items in order to have 100% crit chance. There is no reason in the world for this to actually be the case. It doesn't make any sense. Just make crit chance 25%. Nerf the actual items a little bit, right? Nerf all the actual items, and then make crit chance 25% per item. That's totally fine. It is totally fine. I don't understand. Have it so that they can have 4 items, and then because they have 4 items, they can put their 5th item towards a utility item that is not also a hybrid, like, utility plus crit item, you know? Lord Dominic's Regards and Mortal Reminder both going up by 5%. Very nice. Navari Quick Blades, 80 going up by 5. Pickaxe is changed to BF Sword. It's probably, I mean, it's probably fine. System nerfs. Epic item stat efficiency. Most epic items have been nerfed to 110% gold efficiency, placing them below one component epics like BF Sword and Needsley Large Rod. Buff duration on Solstice Slay, 3 seconds is 2.5. Movement speed is going to be down by 5%. Support gold income, okay. Void Grubs. Decaying Shield on death. Decaying Heal on death. A health bar is now accurate for Smite. Doran's Atlas Jungle Eggs now tagged as unique starting items, cannot be purchased together. I mean, that's totally fine because I like this is one of the like funniest litmus tests in the entire world where the MTG Johnnies come out of the woodworks and they buy the Doran. Now in solo queue, I could actually see it maybe having a little bit more merit, but even then, I think it really is just MTG Johnny in the sense that you would have to play such an exorbitant amount of games, and you'd have to actually pause each fucking game and go through your Insights GG or your replay, your VOD, whatever it is, right? And actually calculate if the damage increase as well as the lifesteal or, you know, whatever it is that you have, in addition to the HP from the item, actually made a difference compared to if you just had like a longsword or something, or like a ruby crystal, right? And in mass majority of cases, you either probably could have just altered something very slightly, like even a couple of clicks to like close a distance, or whatever. You could have just probably played differently, and you would have had either a similar outcome or the same outcome. And I think that's why this thing is actually hilarious, and it's very MTG Johnny in many ways. Okay, we don't think Smolder has any underlying issues that make him long-term problematic in terms of kit and design. Okay, and some of them are frustrating. Okay, Galio. There's a little tricky Galio onto more durable builds without overly buffing support, who is much reliant on actually engaging. I saw the Reddit thread that apparently Galio's at like 45% win rate, so apparently he's terrible. These changes I don't think would be necessarily enough, but I do think for support. For mid lane, I do think that maybe they'd be a little bit better. Buffing his first max, but also giving some additional laning power. Well, okay, so they're buffing his first max for tank, okay? Because first max for AP is Q. So... I mean, yeah, it is his first max for tank Cho'Gath, so that is really nice. And then obviously the W. Laning power through lowering W, yeah, I like that. Diana, most attack speed focus changes for Diana focuses on clear speed, where she has a much higher uptime on attacking. That's totally fine, but again, it's not her problem. As mentioned today, we're looking at some buffs for each of the top farming tanks. We're still doing Discovery. That's totally fine. Shen, Sion, okay. AD hybrid builds, okay. Tryndamere mainly focuses on increases Tryndamere damage through auto attacks while he gets on you, other than being primarily spell focused. Pattern can become a bit high frustration, sure. Briar, Gragas. I was mostly building the item that we intended for AP Bruisery pattern. He's just a little strong in elite bracket, so we're giving him a generic nerf that should make him a little more punishable and less forgiving, especially in lane. Okay, Senna, etc., etc. Okay. That is it for 14.6. Now, would I say that this is a Curse of 6 patch? Yes and no. There's almost no immediate competitive changes in this patch. There's not a whole lot that is going on. So that does feel a little bad. There's slight things that are here. There really is some slight things. Those slight things I actually think are enough to make it not totally a Curse of 6. Does make me worried for 7. But again, 14.6 is playoff patch, right? So, or actually, no. Wait, does playoffs continue on live patch? I'm actually not even sure if playoffs continue on live patch. Maybe not. I'd have to check what LCS is actually going to be doing there. But all in all, I think this is an okay filler-ish patch. And the only reason that I say that, though, is because of this. If the item stat efficiency was not here, if this was not in this patch, this is a Curse of 6 patch. This is a sizable enough change that I think that it justifies not... It's real close, guys. It's like... oh, man. I don't really know, man. It's like when that... Oh, God. I don't know. It's... the person whose language that you just really can't understand looks like they're giving you like a weird eye and they're doing some incantation and stuff and they feel like they're cursing you, but you're not really quite sure. So, you just go on with your day. That's what 14.6 is. So, I don't know. Are their skins good? Maybe the skins are good in this patch.